Hello, Solomon here. This is a review of AEW All Out 2020. I will be giving my thoughts and opinions on all the matches that were on the card of this pay-per-view. So I will now begin with the first match of the card of this pay-per-view. The first match of the pay-per-view was Dr. Britt Baker going one-on-one with Big Swole. The stipulation of this match was a tooth nail match, so I would assume that would mean someone would have to stick the nail in their opponent's tooth to win the match. So the match took place at a dentist surgery and not in the arena, as Big Swole arrived at the surgery in a car with an AEW referee official, so the match can be officiated at the surgery. Dr. Britt Baker was at the reception wearing a face mask. She was on her phone until Big Swole came and announced her name to her. Then she handed the clipboard to Big Swole to sign her name on it, and then after she realized who it was, Baker yelled at her staff at the back and Swole hit her with a clipboard. Then Swole attacks Baker and her friend as well, and then she goes around the place looking for Baker, and she went away from her. Then Swole goes around the building looking for her until she comes back into this room and sees teeth clattering toys in the cupboard. Then Baker comes from behind her and hits her with a university degree portrait picture, and then the referee rings the bell to officiate the match started. Then Baker was trying to use a tool to dig into Swole's tooth, who was on a dentist chair, but she managed to evade it by hitting her with a tray. Then Baker's friend threats to attack Swole with a dentist tool, but she manages to evade it by attacking her with a tray. Then both women were outside of the building and brawled outside. Swole had Baker on a wheelchair and pushed her into cardboard boxes. Then both women were on the top of a transportation vehicle, and Baker did a DDT on Swole. Then Swole put Baker's friend into a dumpster next to the vehicle, and while Swole was looking for Baker, her friend handed her a crutch stick to hit Swole with her. Then both women were back inside of the building and hit some moves on each other when Baker went for a cover on Swole only for her to kick out. Then Baker dragged Swole into the dentist chair and attempted to use a drill on her until she evaded it. Then Baker's friend handed her another weapon to use on Swole, and that was a syringe. Yes, a syringe. She was going to use the needle on Swole, but Swole managed to have Baker inject the needle on her thigh. I must say that was so very hard to watch. I have to say it was very difficult for me to watch that part in the match. Then Swole hit a couple of moves on Baker and had her on the chair, and then she used an oxygen mask on her and used it for a couple of seconds until the referee rang the bell, and that meant Big Swole was the winner of this match. So after the match ended, Swole ripped up Baker's university degree certificate, and Baker woke up to find out that she actually lost the match she was in. I thought this was a very unorthodox match, and I've never seen a match like this before, so it was something new to me for the first time. So yeah, that's my overall thoughts on this match. The second match of the show was a tag team match. JURRASIC Express with the company of MARKO STUNT were going up against the Young Bucks. The match was underway, and Jungle Boy and Matt started off the match and were the two first men starting off this match. Both men were setting the pace of this match and in exchange a couple of moves to each other. Then Matt tagged in his partner and he took over. He went for the cover only for Jungle Boy to kick out. MARKO STUNT decided to get himself involved into the match by distracting his team opponents without the referee acknowledging it. Then Jungle Boy made a tag to his partner Luchasaurus, and he delivered a combination of moves on both Matt and Nick. Then Jungle Boy jumped off the back of Luchasaurus and landed on the other member of the Young Bucks. Then Jungle Boy was tagged into the match, and the Young Bucks hit a combination of double team moves on him. Then when it came to the closing stage of the match, Jungle Boy was left on his own in the ring without his tag team partner with him, and the Young Bucks hit a double team move on Jungle Boy and went for the cover. 1, 2, 3. The Young Bucks are winners. So my thoughts on this match was pretty okay, as it was a smooth tag team match with some decent spots in this match. So yeah, that's my overall thoughts on this match. The third match of the pay-per-view was a 21-man casino battle royale. The winner of this match will be awarded an opportunity for the AEW World Championship. This was another new match for me to see for the first time, as I've never seen a match with this sort of stipulation before. The first men to enter the battle royale were Trent, Christopher Daniels, Jake Hager, The Blade, and Rey Fenix. The match was underway, and all men were hitting a selection of moves on each other in order to eliminate their opponents. After about 3 minutes, Frankie Kazarian, Will Hobbs, Chuck Taylor, Santana, Ortiz were the next 5 men to enter the ring. All men were attempting to eliminate their opponents from the ring during the 3 minutes. The Blade and Christopher Daniels were the 2 men eliminated from this round. The next round, Billy, Penta L0M, Brian Cage, Ricky Starks, and Darby Allin were the next 5 men to enter the Battle Royale. Rey Fenix was eliminated from the Battle Royale after the next 3 minutes. Sean Spears, Eddie Kingston, The Butcher, Sonny Kiss, Lance Archer, Sonny Kiss surprisingly managed to eliminate Jake Hager, but then Brian Cage eliminated Johnny Sonny Kiss. Then Santana was eliminated by Trent. Then Lance Archer eliminates both Ortiz and Trent. When it came to the 21st man to make his way to the ring, that man was the familiar Matt Sydal. You may remember him from that promotion he was in. Soon he came down to the ring, he took out Sean Spears and he made himself on to the top rope and done a very bot shooting star press. So yeah, Kazarian eliminates Penta, but then the Butcher eliminates Kazarian. Ricky Starks was eliminated by Darby Allin. During the match, Lance Archer put Darby Allin in a body bag and he picked him up and he eliminated him over the top rope. Then Lance Archer eliminates both Will Hobbs and Brian Cage. Sydal then eliminates the Butcher, but then he gets eliminated by Eddie Kingston. Then Eddie Kingston attempts to eliminate Lance Archer from the match until Archer managed to eliminate him himself in the match, and he's the winner of the Battle Royale. So yeah, this was a new concept of a Battle Royale I saw in this match. So it was a very good concept actually. I like the way they have people coming every 3 minutes or so. So it's a very good, unique concept they're doing. So it's not, they're not trying to like use other stipulations that other promotions use. So it's good to see using their own promotion. So yeah, it was an okay match. I thought it was okay. So that's my thoughts this match. The fourth match of the pay-per-view was Matt Hardy vs Sammy Guevara in a Broken Rules match. So before the match began, Matt Hardy was calling for Sammy Guevara to show his presence in the match. Sammy Guevara showed up, but he showed up in a vehicle, almost running Matt Hardy over. So yeah, he was nearly running over Matt Hardy with a vehicle and he almost hit the bins as well. So he came out of the vehicle and then they were brawling all over the back of the arena, and then they went to the scissors lift. They went to the top. And Sammy Guevara speared Matt Hardy all the way to the top, all the way from the top of the scissors lift, all the way down to chairs where he landed on the back of his head on the floor. And they were very cautious about Matt Hardy's concern because he was out for like a long period. So they were very concerned about if he was able to continue the match in some ways. So that's basically what they were trying to do. They were a bit concerned whether they wanted to continue the match or not, or basically like make sure they want to basically continue it or not continue it. That was a bit of a confusion there. But they were rolling all over the arena. When they separated each other, they rang the bell, and then when they stopped it, it's like they went to the part of the arena and they basically resumed the match. And they were boarding all the way to the arena, all the way to the stage, and they climbed the scaffolding of the stage. They climbed it, and then they went to the scaffolding and they climbed it, and they basically climbed it and they basically went to the top. And Matt Hardy was throwing his right hands to Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara ran down through the stage of the arena. The referee counted up to 10 and for the count out, and Matt Hardy was the winner of the match. So yeah, Matt Hardy was the winner of the match, and it was a really decent match. It was good to see that he was able to continue the match. So yeah, that's really good to see. The fifth match of the card was the AEW Women's Championship match. The champion SHIDA was defending her title against Thunder Rosa. The match was underway and both women had to stare down and deliver some right hands to each other. Then they delivered a combination of moves on each other, including some lucha libre moves, including a high drop kick from both opponents. There was one part of the match where Rosa jumped off a chair into SHIDA. Then both women were back in the ring delivering a combination of moves on each other. Then they had each other in submission hold setting the tone of the match. Then both women hit a combination of moves on each other, including a German suplex. SHIDA then hit a break back on Rosa and went for the cover only for her to kick out. Then SHIDA hit a signature finisher on Rosa. She went for the cover. 1, 2, 3. HIKARU SHIDA is still your AEW Women's Champion. This match was pretty decent one, as both women showcased each other's talents, and it was an okay match. So yeah, that's my overall thoughts on this match. The sixth match of the card was the Dark Order vs Matt Corder, Scorpio Sky and Natural Nightmares. The match was underway and all competitors were brawling each other all over the ring. Dustin Rhodes and Colt Cabana were involved in the match and delivered some moves on each other. Dustin Rhodes hit some moves on Colt Cabana, then Matt Cardona was in the match and he delivered a combination of moves on the Dark Order team, including a jumping moonsault over the top rope to the outside of the ring. Then it was Dustin Rhodes and Brody Lee in the ring. They delivered a combination of moves on each other. Then Colt Cabana was in the frame and attempted to do a moonsault on Rhodes, but he countered it and went for a roll-up cover. 1, 2, 3. Matt Conda, Scorpio Sky and the Natural Nightmares are your winners of this match. So This was a pretty much straightforward tag team match, and there was some decent spots in this match, like when Cardona done the moonsault outside the ring. So yeah, that's my overall thoughts on this match. The seventh match of the card was the AEW World Tag Team Championship match. Kenny Omega and Adam Page were defending the tag titles against FTR. The match was on the way, and Wheeler and Omega were the first two men to start the match. They had each other in hold moves and delivered some right hands to each other. At one point, Omega and Page appeared they didn't want to work with each other, as they disputed about who does what in the ring. Then Page tagged himself into the match and put Wheeler in the corner and re-tagged his partner Omega into the match. Omega hit a few moves on Wheeler, then he tagged in his partner Harwood and he hit a couple of moves on Page, and over the cover only for him to kick out. Then Harwood and Omega were in the ring and delivered a combination of moves on each other. Then FTR I should say, done a double team move on Omega and went for the cover only for him to kick out. This was a very lengthy tag team match, as both teams were doing their best in order to come up winning this match. When it came to the closing stages of the match, FTR hit a double team spike power driver move on Page, and Wheeler made a cover. 1, 2, 3. FTR are your new AEW World Tag Team Champions. After the match, FTR celebrated their victory with their company friend, and Omega was in disgust and left the arena completely dissatisfied. So yeah, this was a very good showcase of a tag team, and it was on for a very long time, and it was a pretty good match. So yeah, that's my thoughts on this match. The eighth match of the pay-per-view was Orange Cassidy going one-on-one with Demon God Chris Jericho in a special stipulation match called the Mimosa Mayhem match. And the build-up for this rivalry has been pretty decent, and they're already doing a good job with this rivalry even before the match has begun. So would it be a win for the Demogod or a victory for the freshly squeezed man? The match was underway, and Jericho straight away hit a code breaker on Cassidy and went for a cover only for Cassidy to kick out. Then Jericho had delivered a couple of moves on Cassidy and attempted to bring him into the pool of Mimosa, but Cassidy managed to evade it. Then Jericho and Cassidy were brawling on the outside of the ring. And then they returned near the pool of Mimosa, and Jericho attempts to powerbomb Cassidy into the pool until he decided to powerbomb him through the table near the pool. Both men hit a couple of moves on each other, and Cassidy went for the cover twice on Jericho, but he managed to kick out the both falls. Then Jericho had Cassidy in the walls of Jericho, and Cassidy was near the ropes and grabbed a glass cup and filled it with Mimosa juice from the pool. Then he threw the drink contest into Jericho's face to break the hold. Then Cassidy goes for the cup inside cradle on Jericho, but he kicks out. Both men were then delivering a combination of moves on each other, and when it came towards the latter stages of the match, Jericho had Cassidy on the ropes of the ring. He attempted to powerbomb Cassidy into the Mimosa pool, but he managed to break hold of it, and Jericho climbed on the ropes, and Cassidy delivered an orange punch to Jericho, but he managed to maintain himself onto the ropes and falling onto the pool of Mimosa. Then Cassidy done another orange punch to Jericho, and he fell into the pool of Mimosa, which gave Orange Cassidy the victory in this match. This was an okay match, and it showcases what Orange Cassidy is capable of doing when it comes to wrestling matches. So yeah, that's my overall thoughts on this match. Right, so the final match of the card was the AEW World Championship match. The champion Jon Moxley was defending his title against MJF with the company of Wardlow. The match was underway, and both men had each other in lock-hold moves to set the tone of the match. Then Moxley hit a sucker punch on MJF and left the ring for a brief moment, then went back inside. Moxley was back in the ring and was about to hit his finisher on MJF, but he managed to counter it, and he done a roll-up on Moxley and he managed to kick out of it. Then MJF went back outside of the ring, and Moxley done a driving body to the outside of the ring to MJF. Wardlow was looking with no comfort at all. Then Moxley threw MJF into the fan fencing, and he very painfully stretched his fingers apart. Then both men were back in the ring and delivered a combination of moves on each other. Then both men were on the outside of the ring, and Moxley catapulted MJF into the steel ring post. Then, as a result of that, MJF was busted open, and both men were back in the ring, delivering a combination of moves on each other, including some submission and pinfall covers, which resulted in both men getting out of all covers, and MJF was literally in a bloody mess. So, and when it came towards the ending of the match, MJF hit his crossroads finisher on Moxley. He then went for the cover only for Moxley kick out. Then Wardlow was on the side of the ropes having a word with the referee, and it appeared he threw MJF's diamond ring at him to use on Moxley. But however, Moxley saw what was happening, and then he immediately hit his paradigm splash finisher on MJF and went for the cover. 1, 2, 3. Jon Moxley is still your AEW World Champion. So yeah, my thoughts on this main event title match was pretty good, and I think MJF does have the potential to be a big star soon for what he showed in this match he was in with Moxley. So I thought it was a decent main event match, and that's my overall thoughts on this match. So my summary for this pay-per-view was that it was another good pay-per-view that AEW did, and they seem to be doing very well, as they have already been in operation for over a year now. So they're making good progress when it comes to delivering good wrestling for the fans watching at home. And my favourite match this pay-per-view was the main event of the AEW Championship match, and my least favourite match was a tooth and nail match. So once again, thanks for watching my review, and my next review will be on the Clash of Champions pay-per-view, which should be out by next week of the 28th of September. So as always, take care and goodbye.